There seem to be a large number of faulty test kits in circulation. The UK and India are two countries that have been particularly badly hit by this. How do we avoid this?
Yes, because this is a new virus and there weren't pre-existing test kits available, of course, everyone was racing towards producing these test kits. So we have two kinds of test kits, the molecular PCR kits, which actually detect the virus, and you have the antibody kits, what's also called immunodiagnostic or serological test kits. Now, what WHO has been trying to do is to pre-qualify or to give a mark of approval for some of those kits which are of good quality. And, they have to go through a process of testing, even diagnostic tests, not as medicines, but you still need to take it through a process of testing in the lab to assure its accuracy and sensitivity and specificity. And so we have been going through this exercise, and at the moment we have about 8 molecular diagnostic kits that we have approved as being of good quality. We're also looking at the antibody-based test, but in the absence of a WHO or an approval from a regulatory authority that people trust, the best thing would be to actually assess the tests in a reputable lab in the country before using it, so that you know what the performance of the test is and you can then interpret the results that you're getting from it.
Can I just ask you to clarify on this NAT test for detecting the virus in the early stages rather than the old PCR test? PCR test is still very good, but it's expensive and time consuming. NAT test seems to be fast, it's cheap, and it's said to be the latest technology. But is it reliable, and is it available for a country like India since it's so new? Is it in short supply?
Yes, so the NAT test, the nucleic acid tests, which is also called as PCR test, take the RNA of the virus and then amplify it and so that it can then be detected by the sensors. Now, it requires at least basic sophistication in the laboratory. It's not something that can be done in the primary healthcare centers. And that's one of the challenges of performing these NAT tests. What people are trying to do is to simplify and do this in a way in which it requires the least amount of laboratory manipulation and technician training. So these are called cartridge-based tests, similar to the ones we use for tuberculosis. In fact, there's an Indian company also that's manufacturing one of these, and again, it needs to be validated against gold standards. So we have now about 8 tests that WHO has said globally are of acceptable quality and standard. That doesn't mean that there aren't more. And therefore, countries like India, which have the capacity to be able to test the newly produced diagnostics which are coming on the market, should, I think, put them through a process of quality assessment before releasing them. And I believe that's what the ICMR has been doing. But we have to be very careful about the tests that are used, because obviously wrong results, either false positives or false negatives, can completely can result in a lot of unnecessary actions or missed actions.